Hey everyone, I've got Dr. Harold Kandler, was a very prominent dentist in the United Kingdom for many dozens of years. He's made Aliyah here to Israel. He gave a beautiful article for Tisha B'Av in the Times of Israel newspaper over the last couple of days. He's going to share it over. We've got a big zchut, a big honor for this now.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi Michael. So the story is set in 1979. I came to Israel on a tour with young adults. The tour was in Netanya, based in Netanya, but we had a free Shabbat. That Shabbat was the day before Tisha B'Av. So I stayed with family in Yerushalayim. After Shabbat finished, I went to their shul for Megillah Eicha, and truth was, it felt like I was just in London. I didn't get anything special out of it. I wanted to get something special out of the fast of Av in Israel. So I went to the Kotel. Now, in those days, most of Jerusalem that we see nowadays had been built, and from the back of their flat in Keren HaYesod, you could walk straight through, dead straight line, right through to Shah Yafo. You go down the hill, up the hill. I was much younger, much fitter then. I could do it. So when I got to the Kotel, Eicha had finished. There were just people like myself, just trying to get a sense of the occasion, being as close to the site of where the two temples were destroyed. In the morning, I went back to shul again. It was like being in London. And so from there I went with my friend and we went to Yad Vashem, which is always very moving. If you think about it, had it not been for the destruction of the temples, the Jews wouldn't have been in Europe, there might not have been the Holocaust. Just as an aside, many years later I went back, there was a picture there of someone from the destroyed community of Salonika, which I took, and it turned out to be one of my patient's uncles. So moving on, so having then gone to Yad Vashem, the next stop was to see some people in Sanhedrin, Yerushalayim. It's not normally a day for visiting people, Tisha B'Av. It was the only time we had. My friend's mother was very close with this lady. The man who I went to see first, his name was Chazan Roth. He was the Chazan of Edra Adas, and he was a Holocaust survivor. He actually had been working so hard, they made his hands solid. The way he used to make Havdalah, when he put the candle out, he went like that, he didn't feel it. His wife, I'd never met. In fact, I never realised it was his second wife. His first wife and children were all murdered in the Shoah. My friend's mother was very close with her, and as we were talking, her sleeve moved slightly to reveal the numbers on her arm, thereby just really bringing home the horror of the Holocaust. The final trip of the day was with the Chazan to his shul with Sanhedrin, which I planned to do, to go to daven Mincha and Mariv. And in Mincha, you put on your talit and tefillin. You don't do it in the morning of Tisha B'Av, it's too joyful. But what I hadn't realised, forgotten, was on Tisha B'Av in the afternoon, the Kohanim Duchen, the priests, give us their special blessing direct from Hashem. And so I was there for those blessings, and then walked home with him and then back to my family afterwards. It was then it struck me. We'd read Eicha about the destruction of the first temple. We'd read the Kinot, the eulogies about the destruction, what happened in the time of destruction of the temple, what happened to communities in Europe, the Holocaust with Yad Vashem. And I realised, wait a minute, the Babylonian Empire doesn't exist, nor does the Persian, nor does the Greek. I never saw a Roman legionnaire walking down Edgware High Street. And I realised, we are here for a purpose. Years later, I learned Gemara Makot. At the end of it is the story of Rabbi Akiva and his colleagues on Har HaBayit. They've seen the site of the temple where it's been destroyed. There's nothing left. It's just a mound of rubble, and a fox is going over it. And Rabbi Akiva's friends are all crying. Rabbi Akiva's happy, and they say to him, Akiva, how can you be so happy with this terrible desolation? He said, because it's a prophecy. The prophecy said that Jerusalem will be destroyed, and foxes will go over Har HaBayit, in the Kodesh Kadoshim, the holiest place. But there's a second half of the prophecy. And the second half of the prophecy, and I'm literally getting goosebumps as I'm speaking to you now. The second half of the prophecy is that Jerusalem will be rebuilt. If the first half of the prophecy has come true, said Rabbi Akiva, the second half will come through. And we see it today. We see Jerusalem being rebuilt. We see, as we say in the sixth of the seven Sheva Brachot, we do see weddings, we do see children. We are living in the start of the Gula. May we please see the fulfillment of Rabbi Akiva's prophecy that he talked about comes through very, very soon. Biat Gol Mashiach, and the Gula Shalema.
Amen.